now, Cartoon Connoisseur proudly presents a special focus episode. This focus episode is SWAT Kats. We will be talking about the past and the bright future as the revolution begins. And now the host, UberNerd527.
Alright, Cartoon Connoisseurs, welcome to another special episode of Cartoon Connoisseur Theater Podcast. Now, this episode is so special. Not only do I have one guest, but I have two very special guests here on this podcast today. My first guest is someone I'm sure you all know very, very well, especially if you're around the site. And that special guest, of course, is the creator of the Arcade Archives Network himself, Raygun. Say hello to the people, Raygun.
I don't know that I can live up to all of that hype. I'm just a creator.
That's right, you're the creator, bro.
Hello, it's very weird being on a show that I'm not the host of, but I'm very glad to be here today.
Yeah.
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 And I'm very excited about our discussion.
Yeah, and what is our discussion, in case the people didn't hear the intro that they just heard a couple seconds ago?
Well, if you don't know what that rocking soundtrack, that intro music is for a little show that I used to watch when I was much younger called SWAT Kats, Radical Squadron. I love that show. I loved it. Highly underrated, in my opinion. But I think a lot of that had to do with the fact that Hanna-Barbera, who, if most people know, who have been associated with me, I've also been an artist. I've been a cartoonist myself, and I, unlike most people, didn't want to work for Disney. I wanted to work for Hanna-Barbera. That's who I always aspired to work for. Now, SWAT Kats came in at a very turbulent time in Hanna-Barbera's history, because that was about the time that Turner Broadcasting bought them up. Most people know that today, Warner owns most of the Hanna-Barbera library. But this was at a time where Turner had bought it up, and they were starting a little thing that we all take for granted now, and that's the Cartoon Network. But this show specifically was a syndicated show first before it went to Cartoon Network. And it was like the last of the type of cartoon Hanna-Barbera for 5 years. And that was the very imaginative, deep involving storyline, and always had an altered spin on reality. This one, of course, being that they were in a cat, and they was the first thing called Mega Cat City, and it's all anthropomorphic cats, and the story evolves around two particular characters, and those characters are T-Bone and Razor. Now, that's what they're known as when they're in SWAT Kat mode, and basically this story involves the two of them working in a militant type of world that they live in, but they have a police, it's almost like a police state. They have a very specific group of people that basically enforce the law, and those are the enforcers. The enforcers, they are like, the kind of like almost the they're the one, not judge, jury, and executioner, but they're fairly close to it. And people are basically two guys who, through a series of events that really went their fault, caused severe damage to the enforcers' home base. And for that, they are basically, they're not the most sent to go get to work. And that's where the two of them decide they're going to be vigilantes and take on the worst of the worst criminals that reside in Mega Cat City. And there are a lot of baddies. And they become the guys called the SWAT Kats. And they have their own weapons and their jet, which is the Turbo Cat. And it was just an amazing story for its time. And I think the reason I enjoyed it the most is, I think when that came out, I was about 24, around there. And so when that show was made, my last really enjoyed cartoons, being as I was at the time. After that, I kind of, I would watch the classic stuff, but I think that was the last cartoon that really caught my attention. And so I was always fascinated by it. I loved the story. I loved the look of the cartoon was very comic book style. So that really pulled me in already. And because we had so many influences at the time, you had Batman in series, you had Gargoyles. This fit into that whole era so well that it even holds up today. I mean, you can get the reviews on Warner Archive now, which I highly recommend, by the way. You watch it, it just holds up perfectly. And if you're not familiar with this story, I highly suggest getting a set of that I found called SWAT Encyclopedia, and it will literally take you through. It's the Bible of the entire series, characters, each episode, everything that you possibly think of, voice actors, the whole thing, and you can learn more about the Tremblay brothers themselves and what we're about to talk about today, which I'm going to leave to you because this is your show.
Well, today we are going to be talking to one of the co-creators of the SWAT Kats, Christian Tremblay, who I get a chance to talk to. And let me tell you, what he has to talk about is going to be something really, really exciting for not only just SWAT Kat fans, but animation fans in general. I really think you guys are going to enjoy this. So sit back, relax, grab some popcorn, or make sure you keep both hands on the wheel if you're driving, or make sure that you're turning up the volume on your iPod if you're running. And if you're running from a monster, you should probably not be listening to this right now. You should probably be running away for your life. I'm going on a tangent now, but I'm just saying, make sure you listen to this, folks, because this interview is going to be really, really cool. And so I'm going to give it back to myself and go through the interview.
This is awesome. Check it out, guys.
Alrighty, cartoon connoisseurs, Uber Nerds back, and I am with a very special guest. This is Christian Tremblay, and he's the co-creator of SWAT Kats, Radical Squadron, and I am so very excited to have him here today. Christian, how are you doing today?
I'm doing very good, very good. It's been very quite special in the last 3 weeks now since we started the campaign, and but being in contact with the fans is quite special. So we appreciate this moment. It's a very good moment and very good in time for SWAT Kats now.
Yeah, I'm really excited about this. I heard about this recently myself, and man, it's really cool. But what I really wanted to, I want to go ahead and go over some of the questions here with you. So where did you get your start in animation and creating these characters and all that?
Well, our start in animation actually we started first, well, when we were like really young, we got interested in animation, and then, but we realized really early on that we needed to be a very good draftman, we always draw from the time I remember from my older brothers. We always very artistically inclined. My brother Yvon, which is a co-creator, but also my other brother Dennis, which was incredible. So we always draw. But when we got started getting interested about animation, we knew that we need to be like really good artists in order to draw cartoons or animation. So we realized earlier on that we need to get some good training. But a good training back then was not available. Animation was not popular, and fine art, was not a popular area where people would say, go in art, that's awesome. It was not the case. So there was not a really good school back in Montreal where we were. So basically, we set up a self-taught system of learning by ourselves, going back with the masters from the past. I mean, I'm talking about the masters of the Renaissance, the great master painter drawings, its culture. And so that was our apprenticeships, for basically 6 years, nonstop, no life, no girlfriend. I mean, this was just about, learning our craft, classical training. And then, in the same times, we were doing the animation as well, but we got better, at drawing. So, we got better at doing, the cartoon as well. But so that's the foundation of our animation and our style. And then at that time, what was going on in television, and we said to ourselves that, heck, we can do that stuff. We can create ideas and stuff like that. We've always been very attracted when we were young with like Sinbad shows, or actually more Sinbad films. Anything that is fantasy was very appealing for us. So our imagination was always, working nonstop. So it was a question of putting those ideas and the craftsmanship we learned on paper and come up with ideas, and making a few phone calls back in Montreal, in Los Angeles. And they were very receptive. So we jumped on the plane and we came to Los Angeles. And, it took, by the time we got SWAT Kats greenlit, it took probably like 5 years, and we spent, close to $45,000 just on plane tickets and stuff.
Wow.
So it was huge commitment from the learning process, but also huge commitment as well to make it, But we're determined guys, so there was no way that it was not going to happen.
You guys sound like you were determined. Oh man. I know how it is with no girlfriend, so I got that already. But okay, so we know where you came from. So how did you get your start with Hanna-Barbera?
Hanna-Barbera, again, it dates back from some of those first trips we came to Los Angeles. So we came here like from Montreal. We would come, for like a week, 2 week, sometime 3 week, even one time 1 month. We came here, and we were just, going around studios, knocking on door and showing projects. And early on in the first 2 years maybe, we got Hanna-Barbera interested in some projects. So we had some deals with them, and also some other studios. But Hanna-Barbera was special. I have to admit, that every time we drove the car by the gate, on Kawanga Boulevard, man, it was special. That place this is where, Joe and William have created, they have reinvented a whole way of doing animation, use the restriction of the budget, and they create something great about it. And my gosh, my kids, watching Scooby-Doo still, that the stuff was created over there. So it was unbelievable, really, to be there. Just going to the meeting there was fantastic. Heck, I don't care if we'll take a project, just being here a couple of hours is awesome. But when we got to work there, as we were, independent, so, we had our deals with them. And so we had our office over there, and going there every day was fantastic, really.
Oh, man, it sounds like it. Now, may I ask, who was your favorite Hanna-Barbera character?
Oh, growing back, this is funny. Growing up in Quebec, I grew up, which is, Montreal is a very big city over there, but we grew up 600 miles north of Montreal in a small city called Sept-Îles,
oh, wow.
which was like 35,000 people back then. And it's not a big city, so we would come home for lunch, which is unusual, but, so you go to school, and then it's lunchtime, you go home to eat lunch. And Flintstone in Quebec was always playing at noontime. So everybody who's watched Flintstone in Quebec, in French, it was always at noontime. And that was it. I watched the Flintstone. And so Flintstone was probably the favorite. I liked all of the, I'm trying to remember the name in English because I remember all those names in French, those classic cartoons. But Huckleberry Hound, Magilla the gorilla, and what's the name of I don't recall the name in English, but with all the vehicles and the cars and what is that show again?
Oh, Wacky Races?
Wacky Races.
Yeah.
That one had a huge impact on the designs of the cars and the characters. Like, wow. Yeah, those are like, but I remember as well when they did the Caveman, the Caveman show on Saturday morning.
Mm.
And I would wake up, man, Saturday morning, I would grab my bag of chips. And that was my breakfast, by the way. Bag of chips, watching.
Breakfast of Champions.
Yeah. Oh, wow, that was a good old days.
Oh yeah, we had a podcast. One of our first podcasts that we did was on my favorite Saturday morning cartoons, and that's one of the things I really, really miss is sitting down in the mornings and watching cartoons in the mornings.
It was magical. Not Sunday. Sunday was a totally different vibe.
Right.
It was Saturday. You went to school. You had a late sleep on Friday night because there was no school, and Saturday morning was the beginning of 2 days of free time. And what a better things to do to start that day than watching cartoon, eating cereals or chips in my case. Memories for tons of kids, out there. It's fantastic.
Yeah. Oh man. So, what shows did you work on previously to working on SWAT Kats? If you did.
None.
Oh,
Seriously.
really? Wow, that's awesome.
No, we what we did is that SWAT Kat was greenlit in 1993, and we had, as I said, like 4 or 5 years of trip before that. So what we did is that we had deals with all the major studios with different property that we were developing with, we were doing things with Saban. We developed with Universal. We had a show, but that was after SWAT Kats. But that almost got greened out with Warner Brothers. But anyway, that's what we did. We were developing and perfecting those things, but never on a show that was broadcast before SWAT.
Oh wow, that's amazing. So SWAT Kats.
Can I excuse me? Can I add something here?
Yeah, sure.
I want to add something. My brother and I are very, very grateful to the folks of Turner because SWAT Kats was on the shelves basically at Hanna-Barbera for a little bit, probably two and a half years, and then when the studio was not doing very well also financially. So when Ted Turner bought the studio, he flew a bunch of executives to Los Angeles, and then so they contacted us and we had to pitch the project, all the projects that was developed at Hanna-Barbera. So we pitch our own, which is SWAT Kat. And then I think we did well. And then they picked up the show. They decided to pick up 2 shows, an action one and a comedy one. So they picked SWAT Kats and Two Stupid Dog for the comedy. But what I want to say is that I acknowledge the group, the Turner group, tremendously because they trusted us. They trusted us. We didn't have any animation piece that we done. Basically, it was just me in front of them with a bunch of artwork, and music that I was playing to show the feel and everything, and the enthusiasm and the vision for the show. And they bought into it, and they trusted us. And like you said, never having done anything before, it was a great vote of confidence. And also Fred Siebert, which was the president when Turner moved in, he was the president of Hanna-Barbera. Also, I want to acknowledge him because he was supportive, of it all. So big thumbs up to them.
Yeah, oh man, that is such a cool story. Now, where did the idea from SWAT Kats come from?
That idea came, I told you we came from we came from Montreal, Los Angeles for about 5 years. So all those trips, was not our parents paid for them. We paid for them. And the way we paid for that is that, we were pretty good in cartoons and all those kind of things. So one way to make quite a bit of money, quick and not taking a huge amount of time on our development that we needed to do, was to do T-shirts and garment designs in Canada, which was basically based in Montreal. So we had deals with different companies that had license of Warner Brothers and Hanna-Barbera and Disney, and we would redesign, reinvent their license. So they pay good money, and then we use that money to fund our trip when we came here in Los Angeles. But also what we did is that we did also original designs for T-shirts and sleepwears and stuff like that. And one design that we just got from the company, a production sample, was a big cat, you know. And my brother Yvonne, he looked at it, so we had it hanging on the, because we just got it, so we thought it was cool. So we had it hanging in the living room where me and my brother lived together. And then Yvonne looked at it and he said, "Hey, this guy looks like a pilot, like a jet pilot, you know, because of the U.S. Army Tomcat, you know, the cats are associated with jet."
Right.
So I said, "Oh, yeah." So I went and I started to scribble sketches, and I put another guy with him, which became Razor, and the other big guy was more like T-Bone and I. So they'll see that, you know, I have like really early sketches, like scribblings of that, which, you know, as an exclusive here, some of that they'll see in the book, the art book of the TV series that people are pledging on Kickstarter.
Oh, cool!
So that's how I started on a piece of woman's sleepwear. It was a big cat, you know, for woman that we did for the sleepwear for women. So you never know where those ideas comes from, right?
Oh man, that's so cool. All right, so when SWAT Kats came out, when did you realize that this was a hit?
Well, we were looking. It's funny at the studio. You know, they were every week. You know, they would put the ratings, you know, on the wall, and we would look at it and stuff like that. There was a bunch of numbers, stuff like that. And but I think I don't know what it did. You know, honestly, I mean, we were swarmed doing. You know, we were focused on doing the series, and then you look at numbers and you say, okay, cool. Then you go back to the office and our room, and then just cranking up, you know, ideas and stuff like that. Sitting down with Glenn Leopold, who's spent a big chunk of time, you know, in our office, and we would talk and we would look at sketches and stuff like that. This is where we were, you know, focusing on. There was no computer back then. I didn't have a computer back then. There was no. I mean, it's 1993, 94. So social world, you don't know. I mean, you look at numbers, and then. But you know, it was fantastic.
Very cool. Very cool. So now let's fast forward a little bit to recently with the Kickstarter. What did you think as an advantage for using Kickstarter to fund doing SWAT Kats?
Well, you know, it's the beauty of the world we live in now. Anybody that has an idea, anybody who has, you know, something special, there's tools out there to make those things happening. And Kickstarter is absolutely brilliant. Enables, you know, people to do things. In regards to SWAT Kats, we said to ourselves, you know, we had so much emails and requests, and then we said, well, you know, why not a better way to get the show back? Let's create a buzz. Let's show, you know, the different broadcasters, the companies, and let's show them that there's big support about this series, and then we can build a franchise. So Kickstarter enables to do that, you know. So besides the fun, you know, which are great, it's the awareness that it does. You know, suddenly, you know, you could see, okay, people are supporting this. Now, if we do this, you know, on a big scale, you know we have the backup of the fans and people behind it. So it's a fantastic platform. I applaud whoever came up with those kind of things, but it's fantastic.
Yeah, it really is. And I saw the total number you guys, I forget exactly the number but I saw it online, and wow, just in a very short amount of time, you guys that Kickstarter raised a lot of money.
We're close to 108,000, and because you start something you just don't know, but the reaction has been amazing. So, and we keep updates. There'll be I'll post after the interview some new updates and things. And then I'm reading all the comments. It's really, really, really an amazing platform. So it's great.
Really cool. I was when I saw. I believe the first place I saw it was Facebook. That our creator, the creator of our site, Raygun, he shared it, and I was like, whoa. So I went right away and saw your video, and I'm really excited about it. So let's talk about SWAT Kats Revolution for a second. So what can you tell us about SWAT Kats Revolution?
Well, what I can say is that, the show, the original series, there was something quite special about it. I think it's a mixture of different ingredients that were put into the show, without, it's a couple of things, and we want to preserve and keep that. In the same time, we're in 2015, so there will be, an evolution of it, and a revolution, because for me the word revolution is because of the world we live in right now. You have a computer, you have a cell phone, you can, bring down the government, when people get together.
That's true.
That's really a revolution. Revolution, can bring back a show like SWAT Kats. That's why we call it. But also in the course of the series, it will be gonna evolve and carry on forward, what was there. So we're gonna same level of excitement, same level of everything that we found in the series, but push forward. We're gonna dig deeper into personalities. We're gonna find out new things, and we're gonna discover new things. But it's not something radical. It's a continuation.
Very cool. All right, so because I'm an artist myself, I have to know, is it going to be CG, hand-drawn, or flash animated?
Okay. Now,
if you can tell me. If you can't tell me, that's fine.
Yeah. Now, we're going for a 2D look.
Okay, good.
We're going for a 2D look. Now, there'll be. It's very important when I say it. Well, what I'm going to say here. Mm-hmm. It's a 2D look. That's the stuff we love and the style we like. Mm-hmm. There will be 3D stuff in there. Mm-hmm. Whatever, it's vehicles or flybys point of view or gadgets and things like that. But always in a 2D look. So that's a style that we like. And if fans like the second seasons, which were animated by Mook, I think they're going to be great, because we love that type of style.
Yeah, it's very very anime style, and I really like the look of it. It looks very clean and very, very neat.
Yeah.
So, all right, now here's my next question, because I'm also a big voice actor fan. Will you get the original voice cast to come back?
No, I think it's a real possibilities. I've been they love the show. Obviously, when I'm saying real possibilities, because there's always contracts and availabilities and different factors to come on to take into consideration. But talking to the guys, they're really excited about it, and we'll see. But it looks good.
I know that Mark Hamill was in a few episodes too, so oh man, fingers crossed for that. All right, so another artist question for me is, do you have a favorite SWAT Kats character to draw?
Yeah, T-Bone. T-Bone is probably my favorite. On the villain, I like the Metallic Cats a lot, and Dr. Viper, because there's Dr. Viper. There's a design style to him that I kind of like a lot. Mm-hmm. But I would say, him and the Metallic Cat. Dark Cat is pretty cool, also on the design point of view.
Very cool. So I also have to ask this question too, because when I saw your Kickstarter video, I saw a whole bunch of SWAT Kat stuff behind you, and I'm just very curious as a nerd myself. Do you have any SWAT Kat merchandise?
Yeah, of course. Those are all part of our private collection.
Oh,
and, I would say in mint conditions.
Ooh.
We basically got everything that was made because we received the production, some samplings, whatever was on the store. So we have quite a bunch of action figures. I mean, all in their boxes, obviously. Mm-hmm. We have the video game. We have handheld games. We have some promotional items like the Murray bike and Sports Chalet promotion they did. We have some of Carl's Jr. Promotional things. Oh my gosh! And then there was obviously a few items from a Hanna-Barbera store. Like the big beach towels and T-shirts, black and white T-shirts, the animation Grand Crew ones, which is pretty cool. And there was not a lot of things. I know when we were talking to the toy company, they were just about to come up with the Turbo Cat. Can you imagine?
Oh,
holy crap! Because what was really, really cool is that it was a design firm in Manhattan Beach who was doing the actual sculpt prototypes for SWAT Kats action figures. So he would come up to us and he would show us so it was basically me and Ron who was looking at the stuff, and then and we took pictures, man. We have pictures, of those sculpts, the waxes and stuff like that. And then, so maybe it's going to be in the book.
Oh, that's so cool. Because I have to say, one of the things I love from that show is that jet. The Turbo Cat is awesome. I love that thing. It's such a cool thing. And just so you can consider, because I'm a big fan of it, pop vinyls of each of the SWAT Kats would be awesome.
The what? Sorry?
Pop vinyls. Little pop vinyl figures.
Yeah.
I would love to see pop vinyls of each of them. They would be awesome.
It would. No, but the point here, with the Kickstarter campaign, is that we have the opportunity now. A couple of things. First of all, we have an opportunity to bring an action series back on the air. There was a big movement back in the early 90s, Mom Against Violence in TVs and stuff like that, which, on my point of view, didn't make any sense, on cartoons. And they went after music, they went after video games, they went after TV, and then, but you and I, and, we grew up on that stuff, and, we turn out pretty good, actually. So, but because of that, there's not a lot of good, actions, and SWAT Kat has comedy as well, but there's not a lot of action stuff, and so there's a great opportunity to bring something new to an audience. And I know even people who never watched SWAT Kats before, don't know what it is, they'll watch it and they'll have a breath of fresh air and say, oh wow, that's cool, cartoon is cool, comedy is cool, but there's a place now to do this. It's a great opportunity. The other great opportunity is really, we have an occasion here to build a franchise, on SWAT Kats and do SWAT Kats right, this time around. Meaning, TV series. We also own the feature film rights in animations and live action, and having total control about that. So, in order to do that, obviously it needs partner. So that's why we did the Kickstarter campaign. And the more awareness we bring, the more heavy. But there's a real chance here to build, because we're talking about licensing and merchandising. I mean, we know that business from the back of our hand, that things we would create for SWAT Kats, toys and everything, play sets and action figures, is totally insane. So there's a real franchise here to be built, and it's a great opportunity. So that's why we did this, and the spark of it was really the fans. The requests we got and everything, and say, wow, the fans are there, the platform exists, then let's do it. Mm-hmm. And the result has been overwhelming.
Oh man, and has it? I know that when I saw it on Facebook, I shared it with a few friends. Like, oh, I remember that show. Oh, that show was awesome. So all right, so we're getting to the end here. So I want to really quickly just let the people know how, if they want to contribute to SWAT Kats Revolution, how they can do that.
Yeah, I mean, there is the just go on Kickstarter and just type, in the discover, just type SWAT Kats Revolution. It gets in there. So far since the beginning of the campaign, we're always in the top page of the film and video section of Kickstarter. So just go there, type SWAT Kats in the search. You'll find it. You'll have all kinds of pledges. From $5 to several $100s, even $1,000, but those are all sold out already almost.
Oh wow!
So there's all a range of really cool things that we're doing, and we're going to be posting. There's just over a week to do now, 8 days. So we're going to be posting a few new things there to excite people even more, and just contribute. You'll get some cool stuff, and then you'll be part of the revolution. Bring back SWAT Kats.
Yeah, man. Oh, that's so cool. Now, where can they find you? Where can people find you on Twitter and stuff like that to get updates?
Well, we're gonna we have a company who's taking care of all the social online aspects. So just go there, find out. You'll find us. And then, obviously you mentioned Facebook. It's there as well. YouTube as well. There's a page. So just search for us. You'll find us. And then search for SWAT Kats. And we're out there. We're also going to be have a dedicated site/blog. Where everybody who contributes will have access to new things. They're going to see the development. They're going to see, what's going on, and we're going to keep, very good updates about it.
Very cool. Very cool. I'm really excited for the blog part because I love to see how animated shows, start from scratch and then kind of build themselves up. So I'd love to see that.
I know, and today, later today, I'm going to be. It's Thursday here now today. Later tonight, I'm going to be posting a revised version of limited edition print, and I changed the drawings I had because on one pledge there was no taker, so I was wondering why. So I went back to our archives of original materials from the series, and then I took 3 of the most insane SWAT Kats drawing in. So one big limited edition, 3 drawings, one of T-Bone, one of Razor, and one of them together. Those are going to be limited edition print, like super rare stuff. So go look at it. I mean, the limited edition stuff on our Kickstarter page is very, very limited. If there is 10 items, 50 items, that's it. There's not going to be more. And each one's going to be signed and numbered. Signed by me, my brother. So the price you're gonna pay for that, I mean, it's gonna be super limited. But yeah, me, I love the craft. I love to see drawings. I love the animation cells and the original backgrounds and all that stuff. And then, but you're gonna get to see that.
Awesome! Oh, that's so cool. Well, Christian, I want to thank you so very much for joining us here on Cartoon Connoisseur Theater. I want to thank you for your time and for all the really great information you gave. If you have not gone to support SWAT Kats Revolution yet, make sure you go on Kickstarter and do it. Anything else you want to tell our listeners before we leave?
On behalf of my brother and myself, I want to say a big thanks. It's because of you we're here. In regards to SWAT Kats, I think the show struck a chord, but you kept it alive. The fan kept it alive. They create their own things online, and it's fascinating to see. And so a big thanks to all of you. And it's a big responsibility for us to carry it forward and then engaging new stories and engaging new fans as well. So thanks, everybody.
All right. Well, thank you again very much, Christian, for joining us. And yeah, do it, guys. Join the revolution.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Yes, so thank you, UberNerd527. If you enjoyed this jolly banter and just willy-nilly things that just happened, then please go to iTunes and give us a review. 5 stars or more would be wonderful. Whatever or however you do that, I am sure you can. Anyways, if you like this silliness, then please go to the Arcade Archives website, arcadearchives.wordpress.com, and see all the jolly, wonderful, crazy people that are on there as well. You can also follow us at facebook.com/TalesFromTheGameGrid, or follow us on Twitter at TalesFTGameGrid. Thank you so ever so much for joining us here on the Cartoon Connoisseur Theater podcast. And now I am going to eat a large meal. Good night.
Thank you for joining us for this Arcade Archives Network video. If you like this, please make sure to subscribe to this channel and leave comments below. If you would like more, please go to thearcadearchives.com or ZowieKerpowie.com. Thank you so much once again for joining us for this Arcade Archives Network video, and don't forget to keep playing like it's 1981.
Message from headquarters. This is a Rebellion production and is part of the Arcade Archives Network. That is all.